Voices with Blake. Listen and watch Voices with Blake on Dan Blake TV on YouTube. Yes, we're back with another episode. You know where it is, Voices with Blake, episode 6. Dan Blake in the house. What's going on, my people? We're here with the one and only. Here she is, Jada. Pink.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you, darling?
Good.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks to see you. Good to come down.
Yeah, long
Appreciate
time.
you. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's happening in your world? All smooth coming in?
Yeah, just I've been like trying to finally, take everything seriously with my career goals, which is DJing.
Okay.
I'm going full steam ahead of DJing in the Caribbean music space, particularly. So soca, dancehall, reggae, and kind of any genre in between, like zouk, bouillon, bit of, Creole music. But that's kind of my heart. That's my passion. Yeah.
Love that introduction. We're gonna get into more of that. Just tell us about your upbringing. Just first off, though.
Okay. So I was born in East London. Well, I was actually born in Essex because my mum was like, "You're not being born in Newham General. You're not being born in any of the East London hospitals. We're going to take you further out so you get good treatment." But I was raised in East from like the first 10 years of my life, and I moved up to West. Both my parents are Caribbean. My mum's half St. Lucian, half Guyanese, and my dad's half Dominican, half Grenadian. So I've, got quite a mix of West Indian heritage. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, man, big up. I love that. So, with like the music, what was the music in the household? What kind of tunes was playing? What kind of rhythms was bouncing off the walls? And that was your parents into, what kind of music? What were the vibes, man?
I mean, to be fair, my music taste, my mum will kill me for this, but I don't think it wasn't like a massive reflection of my parents.
Okay.
But my mum, I mean, she just listens to everything. She listened to soca growing up. I listened to soca from her growing up, but she was more into like Dominican bouillon soca and, old school soca. And then my dad, I think he used to play like a lot of old school hip hop.
Okay.
But as I've got older, I think maybe, I can give him some credit for that because like I love old school hip hop.
Okay. What kind of names or what kind of stuff was getting played?
Like Wu-Tang.
Oh, sick.
I mean, my dad was more like East Coast, but
Okay.
I grew up and I started to like more West Coast. So I used to play like, the NWAs, the Ice Cubes, and then I also love like rare groove and like 80s, 70s. Like I just call it like soulful black music from that time. And my mum was not playing that. My dad was not playing that. They were too young. That was my nan's generation, that type of music. So I think growing up when it comes to music, my palette of different genres, like I feel like a lot of it is my own interests. My parents had a few light introduction, but yeah. And like my love for like soca I don't think it's not from my mum. Like, cause I love all types of soca and all types of reggae and dancehall. But being Caribbean, I was raised on reggae music. I was raised on calypso music. I was raised on dancehall music. Like that was natural. I mean, my grandparents were playing all of the reggae tunes and family functions. That was just standard. So I think, actually.
Love that. And you see, like you talk about DJing. Was DJing a thing you was doing from when you was a youngster, like growing up, like aspirations to, play on a little turntable or hit a little vinyl or, you know what I mean, or run on the deck trying a little thing. How did the DJ love come to play like in the early days?
I do not have any. I don't have a story of like my mum was playing it or my dad was playing it and that was nope. It came from like when I was in school. I always wanted to do presenting from when I was in like year 7, and then presenting. This is before social media was a thing, and it was like I want to be like a TV presenter, and all my teachers used to kind of support it. So like when they had the talent shows and that, when they used to have the like school, talent show things, competition things. Like I was always hosting them, and then I think I got to about like I knew when you are doing presenting, sometimes I find a lot of people do other stuff as well because presenting doesn't pay, and there's also just and there's other things that people just get themselves into, and I think DJ just always appealed to me because of my music taste. But then I took a massive gap from it. Like my mum bought me like decks when I was like 19, little controllers, and then I took a massive gap gap from it, because I was trying to find like my niche, because I'm like that. Like when I work, I like to find my lane and work in it.
Pocket,
yeah, and make the most of it. So I think with the DJing, it was like I was trying to just figure out, like, what do I want to DJ? I don't just want to just be like multi-genre. Obviously, you can DJ multi-genre, but what's my avenue? So it took me about a couple of years to kind of figure that out. And I feel like up until probably just before the pandemic, like 2019, I was like, yeah, Caribbean music's where it's at. So I started to take it seriously. Kind of self-taught myself. Took a few sessions at like the Roundhouse, but I have kind of been teaching myself just the basics and that. But yeah, growing up, it wasn't like there was no like turntables in my house or like, it's just all kind of my own interests and what I saw, and I was like,
So, would you say at this stage it's love? Is it love for the industry, or a money chase at the moment? What's it out of those two? Is it love or money?
It's love. It's love for the music and the culture. Yeah. Because again, there's so much things I see like in the Caribbean music scene that I feel like I want to bring. Yeah. That may have been done before, but nobody like me, like a young female, not even forget young, no age, but a female. Yeah. There's not many women who I think are making. There's loads behind the scenes, but I'm saying like the DJing world. There's loads of women doing their thing, but I want to make some proper trailblazing, different decision type of things, and especially soca music it's everybody is familiar with it, and it's associated to being a carnival sound, which for me I find that very offensive, because that is my country's culture's music. So it's like, it's not just a carnival sound, it's not just a sound you hear once a year. It's something that us from those Caribbean islands, well, not everybody, but that's us that were raised on it or love it. Like, that's our music. Do you get what I mean? So I think for me, it's about bridging those gaps between soca and like the mainstream world, or soca and people who aren't familiar with it, or just trying to show people that it's not just a carnival sound. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's the music of carnival, but outside of carnival, there is a whole entire industry and a whole scene of, soca artists and creatives and all of that type of stuff. So I think that's where like my passion came. And then it was like, first it was presenting, and then I was just like, I found, I don't know, just kind of fell out of love for presenting.
Why?
Do you know what? I actually don't know. I think I procrastinated on it for so long. Yeah, it just started to become a distant dream. Yeah. And then I'm a person as well, like when I have an idea, I think about the now, like the long term, like
the plan, like the 5-year plan.
Yeah, which is sometimes it works, and it does work and it doesn't work. Sometimes you have to appreciate the moment and just work at what you're doing in the moment. But with me, I can't help it. Like, I'm constantly always thinking about the future and the end goal, or not the end goal, but that kind of big goal, and then how the little steps I can take to get to that goal.
Are you like vision board, manifestation?
Yes.
Into that.
Yes. I heavily believe it, especially manifestations, word of, I'm saying I don't even know what I'm saying.
It's the power of the tongue.
That's
you know
it.
What I mean?
That's it. Yeah, because I think and
there's a guy I know in the boxing industry. Yeah, he always says, "Dream it, believe it, become it." Shout out to Tunde Ajayi. Yeah, it's a very great saying that I always teeth off him and say here and there.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's true though, because I am a firm believer in that. I think a lot of things that I've got now is because of that. Yeah. Because I see it, I speak it, and I'm not afraid to like tell people my goals. People sometimes say, "Don't tell people, there's evil eye."
Yeah, the evil eye thing.
That's, to me, I'm just a firm believer in the power of the tongue. So the more I speak it, and then I think speaking my goals and stuff has helped me get opportunities, because I've told that person who knows that person, and that person might have thought of me. Like, it's always worked in my favor, type of thing. So yeah, I've never shied away from that. Yeah,
so you're saying presenting for now is kind of on the back burner, or something that you'll come back to?
It's probably come back to, but not like, it's not a priority.
Because I met you when we was doing Worldwide FM together, and we was Carnival Times. I think it was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
and you was doing a carnival show, I was doing a special carnival show. Yeah, and I just loved your energy just around Notting Hill, and you know, the Caribbean culture, and you know, you seem very enthusiastic, and yeah, there was a good energy about you, and check out your profile, see just the colourful vibes. I could see.
Today it's not
I
reflective,
like,
but it's winter. I just said no.
We're all blacked out here, you know how
Literally.
we do it. So
Yeah.
I saw all that and I thought, yeah, this girl's got something going on here, you know. And it's just interesting. I would always say, like, you know, keep it open, man. Always keep your options open, you know. And I would say, you know, because you got talent as well on the presenting side of things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the presenting that's drawn to me more is like documentary presenting.
100, yeah.
So mainly more things about something, and I would love to speak on that, and then do like documentary type. I think that's what's kind of drawn me, rather than kind of like, I don't know, like mainstream presenting.
Because
then unless there's something where there's an opportunity around, again, Caribbean music, which there isn't really much.
Dancehall radio show on commercial radio.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff I would do, but there's not much. Do you get what I mean?
We'll speak it, you know, we're speaking it, you know,
and
it could happen. I definitely see a lane. I see a lane there that you could go down there, you know, because as I said, you got your USB right there in the dancehall industry and the scene. I could see you doing your thing there, you know. So we speak it. I see you got a show on No Signal as well. It's a big radio station coming up now.
Yeah.
I haven't listened as much, but is it more? Are you presenting on that show?
Yeah, so it's me and two other ladies. Laura Lee, who is a DJ as well in the SoCal Caribbean scene. Yes. And Kimmy T, who is also like, she's kind of like our MC.
Yeah, I love that name. You know, big up Kimmy T.
Kimmy T. Yeah. So we they had a show on Tribe Urban called The Sunday Lime, and then I wanted a show as well on No Signal, and then me and Laura done like literally like a short stint of podcast episodes last year, just for like Carnival Caribbean industry. And then I was just like, maybe we should just team up, because we're like young girls in the Caribbean music scene in the UK. Like we both have similar interests with the music and all of that kind of stuff. So I like applied for us to go on No Signal, and then we went as a collective. So we are like the Sunday Lime, which for those who don't know, lime means, in the Caribbean term, it means like you're liming. So right now we're liming, might have a drink, a bit of music, we're just chilling. Yeah. Just, we're just liming. Like Sunday lime. So, and then obviously it lies on a Sunday, so it was like the Sunday Lime. But yeah, so we do that every Sunday on No Signal. And yeah, it's I think for No Signal alone, it's just a nice space to be in, because it's black radio. Like, I'm very, very strong on supporting my own people, supporting my people first, and especially at like a certain level as well. Like, it's just nice to see them, doing
rising together and that.
Yeah, and like everybody in the station's black. Everybody on the like the programming is black, and they support all like different cultures across black culture.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So it is a good station.
It's cool, man. So you're enjoying your radio appearances. Do you DJ on there as well, on your show and stuff? Getting a mix?
To be fair, we've had the show since February. We had No Signal had a massive gap, so we wasn't on air from like April to like September. Laura's our designated DJ. She's been doing like holding down the music every week. I feel like I DJ'd once when Laura wasn't there to fill the music in, but maybe I'm just not pushing myself. Like I should be. Like me and her should be like alternating or something.
Hours,
I should be, but I think because I haven't made it like a sole purpose on those Sundays, which I should. I haven't really been.
That's cool. Soon come. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, want to talk about you got love for somebody. Yeah, it's quite popular, very popular around the world. Big love for this person, right? Do I have to say who she is, or like, are you gonna tell me?
Is it? I think I know who it is.
Yeah, go on.
Is she an artist?
Yeah, of course.
Is it Nicki Minaj?
Oh yeah. We ain't gonna get away with this interview without mentioning that.
Oh, Nicki! I feel like from when I was a child, like one thing everyone is like, I'm always associated to Nicki Minaj. I love it. Yeah.
Wow. Are you a barb? That's the first question.
I feel like when I was younger, I was like a barb.
Yeah.
I'm still am, but I feel like I'm an old school barb.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone goes at her, you at them like you at it right away. I remember like that's the thing with the barbs.
They are. That's why I said like I'm an old school barb. Like I defend Nikki more from like if anyone's coming for her like back in the day. I feel like now that from what I see anyway, like the hip hop industry or whatever it's called, it just seems like a big mess. Yeah, so I just don't. Right now, for real. I'm just like I feel like everyone is just doing the most. So I just don't make any like I don't really have an opinion. Or have an opinion, but I'm just like I'm not defending anyone. Even though I love my Nikki, but I just feel like
Right. She's had a great career though. When I think about it, you know what, like
I still play her albums from like her mixtapes to up until her Pink Print album, which was the album before the last. Like to me, I'm like,
my favorite Nicki verse. I want to know your favorite one. My favorite one has to be Monster.
Oh that's
Jay-Z
a big one.
record there, and was Lil Wayne in that? What was the name of it?
I think
it was on that record. Jay-Z,
Kanye,
of course, Monster.
Yeah,
that verse.
That is a powerful. Yeah, that's a powerful verse.
That was my hardest ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's a hard. That's definitely in probably like the top 5, 10 for me. My favorite Nicki verse. And the thing is, when I leave, it's gonna come to my head, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh, it's that one." I feel like I've got more
songs. I'll give you. Let's give me your favorite song. I'll give you mine real quick. Mine's "Moment for Life." That's mine too.
Is it?
Yeah, it's always been "Moment for Life." That's my one. Just fuck with that song heavy. That song.
Really? Mine will probably have to be amongst my favorite is "Beam Me Up, Scotty."
Okay.
So it's from her mixtape days again. Beam Me Up, Scotty. I feel like because Nicki Minaj has such a massive catalogue, I have to break it up. So it's like new music, what she's released in the past. After her Queen album, I'd say her best verse is probably the Seeing Green verse. Okay. Because I feel like she's spitting proper, like she's spitting like how she spits back in the day. Because a lot of her, be fair, a lot of her new music I haven't been like a fan of. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then from her last era, I would say like Chung Lee.
Oh, Chung Lee.
Just is such a wicked tune. And there's a song called Coco Chanel, which she's got that's featuring Foxy Brown. I feel like I'm really biased because any song that's from like an American or UK artist, like even though she is Caribbean, but that has a strong Caribbean sound in it, I love automatically. So like that song's got like a dancehall beat, and they've got that type of dancehall inspiration. It'd have to be those. And then from back in the day, there's too much. I'd have to sit there and go, that one, there's so much songs that are running through my head right now. I just can't.
Ain't Chung Lee that song where she's like, that's hard as well.
That song is great.
The beat was crazy.
The beat, exactly.
That's a recent banger still. I remember, you've seen her live, right? You've seen her a couple of times.
I've seen her like 3 times, I think.
Yeah, I saw her early doors. I think I saw her when she first came out. I was at Hackney Weekender 2012.
Yeah.
She performed, and I was literally right on the stage, like standing right there, and she's performing.
Yeah.
She just had mad energy. She killed it, man.
She's wicked. That's it. Roman's Revenge. That's one of my favourite songs.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
That's like classic. Cool. I've seen her at Wireless in like 2014 or whatever. Yeah. I saw her when she had a concert in 2019. And then I saw her recently at Wireless which I feel like her last 2, the first one that I went to in 2014 in Wireless, that was like, maybe because I was younger then and I was a proper little barb. Had my friend, my mum, like we all went, and it was like amazing. And these are when she had like her Pink Friday album was her, or Pink Friday Roman Reloaded was her album of the time, so she was performing all the hits off there. Whereas in comparison to her Wireless concert this year, I was just like, oh, Nicki.
So like, you see that as you get older and you've seen her through stages, is she still this, because she's like a character in it. For me, when I see Nicki, when she's on stage, she's got the full package of somebody that doesn't even seem like she's like, even like, get what I mean? Like a regular human being.
Yeah.
Like she's just like this whole character and energy. So as you get older, sometimes that can wear off like on people. So like, was it that kind of energy when you've seen her 3-4 times? You're like, I've seen it before. Or
I just
still there.
I just think her style has changed a lot. Yeah. So when I was younger, or when she was around before, like when she was doing her Pink Friday stuff, she was more character
driven.
Yeah, and like I think for me growing up, unconsciously, she actually inspired me a lot. Like especially with my like look, like my colors, the like feeling confident to wear colors, colorful hair, like whatever you want, you know, makeup, whatever. And yeah, I think now she's obviously toned down. She still wears colors and that, but she's more toned down.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't do the character-y stuff anymore, which I get it, you know, it's changing, which is, you know, it's to be expected. But I just feel like that is like nostalgic Nicki back then. Even when she was rapping like normal back in the day, there was still an element of nostalgia that was to it. Whereas now, she's like, I don't know, she's just like more normal, or her raps are just more like, to me, her raps are more suited to music nowadays. Yeah. Whereas back then, I still feel like she had her own sound. Even if it was a normal like hip hop beat, she'll come on and her verses were like really unique. Like her flows, her voice ranges. Yeah,
like the cadences, the patterns.
Yeah, and like her little alter egos and that. Whereas now, it just sounds like another kind of like verse on the end of someone's track on that. So
you think she lost hunger, like when you get so rich, really like fuck this.
I think it's just honestly, I think it's just the music industry now. I just think everyone's just like blending into the same sound. Like no one's really.
Oh, fair enough though. You know what? Because she done that. What do you think of that remix she done recently with like loads of rappers on it? Lady Leisha, UK.
Oh, the Fine Nine.
Yeah.
Again, I automatically supported it because it was Caribbean ladies.
You think it was hard though? What was your actual opinion on it?
When I first heard it, because it was all loads of different verses. I mean, I said, Nicki, should you just hijack Skeng's song?
Yeah.
But I like it because that I first heard that song from Skeng when I first heard the remix, and then she came back and then she done the Fine Nine, and I personally, it's grown on me a lot. So like I've now found like my own little identity with each verse, whereas before I was still, you know, picking it up, but now I think it was such a big song for like the culture because she had Trinidadian artists on it, and then you have like Lady Leisha, who she's British but she's from St. Kitts, and like so I feel like it was a nice little mixture. I don't feel like it got enough push and credit, because again, I just think when it comes to like Caribbean music, we're often just pushed to the side all the time.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's like even down to like in like they took away like the Billboard reggae chart and like brought on like the Afrobeat chart, and to me, I find in the top industries when it comes to black culture, it's always one or the other. You can't have both winning. You can't have dancehall and you can't have Afrobeats at the same time winning and doing their thing. It's like Afrobeats is doing really well now, which is like amazing. So dancehall and Caribbean music, it's just toss you lot to the side. And then if it, you know, and I don't know, like, so with like that remix, again, I just feel like it deserved a lot more push, a lot more play. Maybe it was a very long track and there was like 9 different verses on there. So I guess, you know, going through all of them, but I think for each of the ladies, wicked opportunity for them. And obviously, I love the Patrice at the end for the Trinidad and the Destra who done the Trinidad. And yeah, all of their verses. I think my favourite verse is probably Lisa Mercedes.
Okay. Yeah.
Or Spice at the beginning. Yeah.
So, like, who are some of your favourite, like, dancehall artists right now? What do you say? Because there's some albums that came out at the top of the year. So let's start with Coffee.
Do you know what?
He was at a launch party as well, right?
Yeah.
A wicked party. Shout out to Coffee. Original Coffee.
Yes.
That party was hard, you know.
It was good. And afterwards, I mean, to be fair, I can't lie. We actually didn't get in until Shuli started playing.
I remember.
Yeah, we was like outside. Anyway, it was a shambles. So we didn't actually get to see Coffee performing her music. But personally, I really much like, I feel like I resonate more with like the new, you know, like that new reggae sound, that reggae revival. So like the Coffees, the Proteges.
Yeah, I see interviewed Protege, right?
Yeah, for No Signal. Like the Lila IKs, like I feel like I really, thank you. I feel like I really resonate with their music more. Dancehall,
I feel you.
New dancehall I like, but a lot of it is like sounding again, like it's like a new subgenre, like trap dancehall, which I still like respect it in that, but it takes me, I think it takes me a little bit longer to like get to know a song and like it and like really be like, okay, cool, that song's engraved in my head. Whereas a reggae song, I can listen to it and then like, I don't know, I fall in love with it straight away. Or like it gives me this level of like peace.
Spiritual cleansing, man.
It is, it's really nice, yeah.
Spiritual food.
Yeah.
Skip Marley said that to me, yeah, man. Big up Skip Marley. Even when I hear him and you talked about certain artists like Protege, Coffee, it's a spiritual food, man. Yeah. And I've got, not to quote him again, he said something like, it's just like good music where you got your pot, you got your Dutch pot, and you're building up your pot, and your pot ain't going on for 20 minutes. We're letting this pot cook properly. We're cooking up the real minerals. Yeah. The spiritual food. It's good music for you. I hear exactly what you mean. It's just it's good music for you, man. It's like cleanser,
that's what I like about it, and it's just not when I listen to it, it kind of feels like I'm just like it takes me away from, let's say, like the other kind of nonsense that's going on in the industry. And they're in their own zone. Like when I look at Protege and his kind of like crew, like they're in their own zone. They're making their music. They're Grammy nominated now, which is huge. So I'm like, I love it. That's kind of like my.
I feel you, because when you say that as well, it's like, it's reggae music, man. That's one music that's just universal, you know what I mean? From the legends, from the Bob Marleys, the Wailers, you know, the legends, like just that music's always been a universal thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
People, when it's still resonating to this day, it's that music and sound will always connect, I feel, worldwide. Exactly, but it's just spiritual, that sound and that music there. So that will always long live. And obviously Proteges and the Skip Marleys, the Coffees, these artists will keep coming and producing more of that great music, which is good. I think it's in a healthy place on that sense. Yeah. Because
I like how as well, out of a lot of genres, new and old, it doesn't sound too different to what was done back in the day. Like it's still like you can, when you're DJing, you can still mix like an old tune to a new tune, like because it's still got that sound and that nice like connection. Like like you said, it's like a spiritual connection with the new reggae, and everyone just seems so like just nice, calm, and real.
Shout out to Chronics as well, man.
Yes,
definitely another one. And like. But then obviously you got dancehall. When it goes down, it goes down. You know, you got
So, no, but dancehall's like again, it's dancehall. You can't hate dance. You can't not like it.
It's vibes.
It's one of the best, I think, genres that have come out of this world. It's the most influential, I think. 100%. Reggae and dancehall. It's the most influential.
Afro beats as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very like dancehall inspired a lot of the sounds that come out of it. So for me, dancehall's.
So you think the state of music is just the general state, you think it's in a good place?
Not really, if I'm being honest. I feel like, again, everybody's trying to mould their sounds. So, like, particularly with dancehall, there's, like, the new rise of trap dancehall, which, same with when you go over to the other Caribbean islands,
trap dancehall.
Not everybody, like, young listens to soca. So when you go to Trinidad, they have their own dancehall. Barbados has their own dancehall. Every island has their own dancehall because you have to think the young people that are out there, they're not. Yes, like it's like me listening to like being raised on Sanchez and reggae and all that. They've been raised on soca, but dancehall is dancehall's like the pop music of the Caribbean, if that makes sense. It's what everybody listens to. So each island has their own spin and their own like music, dancehall music. I mean, I like to support it as much as possible because it just kind of shows that Caribbean is versatile. Yeah. We don't just, you haven't just got Jamaicans in the dancehall and then the rest of the islands and soca and jump up and carnival music. Like, no, that some artists out there do R&B, but reggae type of R&B. Like, there's a lot of talent in the other Caribbean islands.
You want to name a few that man can give the shout outs to you right now?
There's one girl from Dominica called Patra.
Okay.
She's really good. She done a cover for Free, which is like an 80s. I can't remember who sings Free. Anyway, it's really nice. Obviously, like, you got the Trinidad, the Prince Swannies, and, they're really good. Who else is there? Can't think of the top of my head right now. There's loads from Barbados. When I went to Barbados, I discovered, like, loads of other Bayesian dance artists, which is really big out there. And again, when you go to them islands, these are the music that's been played. So to me, as a DJ, part of my journey is to bring that music from that island or from that, place and put it in the mainstream or put it over here because it doesn't get played. Yeah. And there's so much songs that you'd hear out there, you'll be like, that would pop off in a club, but because it's not pushed.
Spread the word.
Spread, yeah. But I forgot your initial question.
Nah, just saying like what artists like that are doing their thing, from the islands and that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's good you mentioned some names because as you're traveling, you're about. That's what it's about, really. I feel like when you're a DJ, you're a presenter. It's good to be traveling. Always keep it worldwide. Like I've always had a thing like when I'm playing music on radio, I like to have that natural experience. So I've been to that country. I've actually been on the ground and seen what artists are doing this and rare in that country.
Yeah.
So let me bring these artists back to where I'm from and play them on radio and support them.
Exactly.
And yeah, I've been on the ground. I've actually gone and seen what's going on here, what's going on in this part of the world. I think that's such a fresh experience, and you feel even more super passionate about it when you've been on the ground and seen it yourself.
And you can see the talent that's there, and you're like, oh my God, you need to be pushed.
Yeah, 100%.
Or over, even just played in the UK or any, you never know. Like, trust me, this stuff helps. Every little helps for them.
100. And obviously, you got this radio business going on in the production world now, I'm hearing. So I see you're doing your thing at One Extra now, yeah?
Yeah, just like,
radio producer, talk to me.
Well, assistant producer.
Yeah, you're a radio producer.
Yeah.
Because I used to be an assistant producer. So
yeah.
You're a radio producer.
Yeah.
It's a big role, So
yeah, so
talk to me, man, because I used to do your role, so but I used to even do a couple of shows that you're doing now. So talk to me about being a One Extra radio producer, assistant producer, AP. Talk to me.
It's good. So like obviously, as I said, DJing is my main priority, but along the journey, you've got to do other things. And then for me,
see the versatility.
There we go. From like 2018, 2019, I wanted to work at BBC as a producer, but particularly for Shawnee B. Like, if it's not his show, then I'm not really that interested.
Yeah, big up Shawnee B. It's a classic show. It's a classic show, so I hear you.
Because it's like one of the only mainstream radio shows that do Caribbean music on any of the mainstream platforms. And it's Shawnee B, like he's, a legend. Yeah. So to me, I always wanted to work my way to get that role as an AP, especially as I find as well, soca music is not pushed. Shawnee B, we've had these conversations, he knows about, so like he's half Dominican himself.
Oh, okay.
He's half Dominican.
I'm learning.
Yeah, so he's half Dominican, and he's obviously he's not just a dancehall DJ. He's he's aware of all Caribbean islands. Which when I work with other DJs who are like big in the game, one thing that makes me respect them more is when they are open to all Caribbean islands. Like they're not just like just dance or just Jamaica, and then they cuss soca. Then it's just like red flag. Then we're not gonna get on, are we? But but yeah, like he's like he wanted to like he wants to bring more of the smaller islands. Yeah. I hate saying that term. The other Caribbean islands onto his show. To just So to me, it was kind of perfect because I wanted to do the same thing. So yeah, like with like again, I feel like in the media, music industry, all that kind of stuff, it's about who you know, and like your passion, and if you do have a niche, it helps. It's helped me anyway, because I'm just like, that's how I got my role here, by who I know, by my passion, and by my niche, literally. And so it's good though. Like it's interesting. Like we had Ding Dong and Jada Kingdom come in.
Jada Kingdom, shout outs.
Yeah. Who else came in? Trini Boy Juicy.
I've seen,
Trini Boy Juicy, Busy Signal, and when Busy Signal came in July, like to witness his freestyling and stuff, like it's just a different feeling, and it makes me like more connected to the artist. Obviously, I was raised with these artists, but when you see them in real life and you see them showcasing their skill and that, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is what it's about. Yeah, in session, live and direct.
Yeah.
In the moment, in the energy, in the vibration.
Yeah,
it's serious. And Shawnee B's got a good vibration as well. So
exactly
that high energy there, and it's an iconic show, man. I used to work on that show myself. Man. Shout out to Shawnee B in my production days. Yeah, he told me many a great story. Oh yes,
one thing about Shawnee, he'd give you every time he gives me a story as well, I stand there and I go, oh my God, I've got a lot of work to do.
It's a lot of work. Still,
he makes me feel like inspired, but like a bit like, oh my God, like I've got a lot of work to do. Because I want to be able to tell them stories one day. Because they're good.
Yeah,
some good, stories, good,
He's got to write his book, man. Sean, he's got to write a book or something, bro.
Yeah, give us a documentary.
Give us a documentary, the book. Can't let them things run on too long. You got to do it, man.
He has to.
Yeah, so the dancehall show, it's a big show. So apart from like when you're doing production there, what are the three things that like you take from like every show? Like when you're there, like what are things that you take from doing production? Like what are three things you've learned so far?
I feel like because of the type of show it is, and it's dancehall, and not many like it's not that like I feel like Shawnee has a lot of like flexibility to like do what he wants on his show, so guest wise and kind of thing. So I think for me, it's just more about tapping into my like creative head. That's what I feel like I've learned so far. The technical side that's just like that's the easy part, I would say, because you can take that technical stuff, you know, and do it on any show. Yeah. But what makes it special is what you can bring to the show to make it better, or to make it like more developed, or make it more of a representation. So for like, again, for his show, it's dancehall / like Caribbean music. So it's now, for me, my mission is to make it the #1 Caribbean show on mainstream radio. So when there's the thing is, with Shawnee B, what's good is he's already 100% of the work is done, if that makes sense, because he knows everybody, he's got the connections, he's been in it for like, that's all done. It's not like you're working with someone who's new and they're trying to build the connections for them. I think for me, it's just more about now the soca artists, which he does know as well, but it's just pushing it, and just making sure like, okay, this week, this artist is down, let's get them in. Because if I don't suggest it, and let's say Shawnee B doesn't see it, then that artist may not come on the show. So there's been like plenty of opportunities where huge soca artists that are, you know, big in Trinidad and that have come to the UK, and they might want a press run. They might be doing a press run, but BBC, you know, and we have to do it ourselves, because I don't feel like the BBC kind of may look out for Caribbean music as much. Yeah. People in those kind of, not even the BBC, but even higher spaces, they're not looking out for Caribbean artists and Caribbean music as much to help them get, do you know what I mean, to get up. So it's for people like us or me at like production level to seek it and then bring it on, if that makes sense. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense, man. And so it's a special, just some gem talk there, because you're saying, some proper gem talk. You were saying, what was you saying? You were saying, just about
like the technical side,
I realised that when I was working like up there at One Extra and even Radio 1, or both of them stations there, and just seeing like you can do the technical thing, be expert, all that, you know, your edits, your montages, this and that, expert. But when it comes to actual putting your input into the radio show, like it can be super impactful. Like it's just about the way you're sharing your knowledge, you know what I mean, to impact that show, to make it for the better.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's to me like the other side of production and radio production. Maybe even from what I've learned so far, it's probably like 70% more. 70%. You know, because I was with the technical, you can take that and go on any show.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Whereas what makes it extra, special is what you can bring to the show.
Who are you? What knowledge do you have like when you're here? Like, because I used to love it when people would come to me and be like, Dan will know this about that. So it showed me that people respected that man had the knowledge on certain things, like within the music industry. They'll be like, Dan will know. I was kind of like an encyclopedia at times for certain things, and I like that, because I wanted to feel like, as well as that, the technical side or whatnot, I was decent at it, but my strength was always the creativity side as well. I knew that in the knowledge and ideas and bringing this person on at the right time, or suggesting that, I'm going to flourish in that all day long. That's all I know. That's natural to me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Connecting the dots and making this thing happen or that happen.
That's the and that's the bit I feel like on specialist shows, that's what's needed.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And even still, like, I'm not even just away from the show and stuff, but in general, like, when it comes to Caribbean music, like, I've still got so much to learn. Like, I feel like I'm right at the beginning stages of my career, because even, like, making connections and making contacts and not, realising that you need to have this stuff for anything you want to do in this industry.
100%.
So I still feel like I'm learning a lot. And yeah, like there's a lot to learn. I'm excited, especially when it comes to, again, going back to Caribbean music, because there's people that are there doing it, but you need them in these type of buildings and these spaces to make a change. And then
yeah, it's very pretty now, and it's big buildings, and there's a lot of things to do and network and push boundaries and push doors. So you know, good luck to you on that journey.
Thank you.
I always ask my guests this question. So how are you now, apart from what you're doing, obviously within in Caribbean music? How are you like encouraging your voice for good in the world?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Philanthropist.
Yeah, man. It's a gem. But it's a live. This is a gem live talk, innit? Like gem for the next Jada Pink out there.
I always just say to people, like, not like who are up and coming, because I'm up and coming myself, so who am I? But from what I've learned is like, just like have your passion, like work on your passion, don't give up. I know it sounds so corny, like don't give up on your dreams. No, but like don't like let anybody tell you that you can't do this or make you feel. Even me, like I feel like taking on this type of DJing aspiration or whatever, the space, being a female, being a black female in my own space, sometimes I have doubts because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm female, I'm black, and maybe even me being from the UK, it's got its pros and its cons, but people take me more seriously because I'm from the UK. Like, what do you know about our music? You're from over there, you're foreign. Like, but not even just that. I'm just saying, like, just keep going and have like a niche. I don't know why, like I feel like having a niche just really helps. And just just be nice to everyone you meet, be kind. Why could I not think of things to say? I feel like honestly just like having a niche and just being open to things and stay like sometimes like stay stern for your goals. Like stay, you know, if that's something if you don't sell yourself out to basically reach that goal. Like no, just do what you're doing, and then it will come.
Yeah, just do your thing, like stay focused.
Yeah. And also I'm a believer with like we were saying earlier, vision boards, manifestations, and not in like a delusional way, but sometimes it just helps get all your ideas in your head out on paper so that you can just sometimes, like with me with vision boards, I'll just put it out on paper or just write out my ideas on docs or something. And then when I feel stuck or cloudy, or I just feel like I go through like weeks where I'll just be in bed. That's the truth. Like just be in bed, watching TV or on my phone, looking at other people's lives on social media. Because in this generation, that's the biggest hindrance right now. When you look at someone else who might be doing what you want to be doing, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. And it's like, you have to remind yourself, hello, everybody's journey is different. And they've been in this industry for like 10 more years before you. Like, of course, like we're so easy to compare ourselves and not feel, you know. So yeah, like, don't compare yourself. Take time off, do a vision board, and just relax and trust in the universe. It will all come.
I love that talk. And we kind of touched there on social media. I was talking to one of the former guests, shout out to Omar Howard, he was on it, and we was talking about mental health. What do you do away from this whole career? Like, you know, to kind of just chill out and keep composure in your mind and peace of mind. What works for you? Like peace of mind, composure, and just keeping your mind off the industry for a sec and just living life. What do you do, like hobbies and stuff like that?
To be fair, it's funny you ask that because like I've been going through that battle, like I'd say for the past like 2 years, where I feel like the comparison thing on social media or just not feeling productive and just sitting on social media and especially when we was in a pandemic, we was at home. Like me, I was working from home when I was at Worldwide, so it was just like I had time to kind of, you know, do other stuff. But I think what helped me was there was a stage where I kind of deleted my Instagram app.
Okay.
And I deleted I haven't been on Snapchat for years, but I just deleted all my social apps. I mean, I didn't last long, but when I came back, I felt better. Like, I think I'd done it for like a week. But that week that I took off, I actually felt at peace because I didn't have no one else to look at, no one else to compare, or not even just that. It's just the distractions as well. Like you might be on Instagram. I try not to, but someone might send me something, and then I've dived down that dark hole. But looking at the blog pages, and your mind's at a nice, good space, and you're looking at what this celebrity's doing and this nonsense, and then it's just you're back into that.
Shade, bro.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, here we go. And then I think for me, like deleting social media, going cold turkey, and just like, I mean, I haven't tried it. Like, the whole thing, I'll go to the gym or I'll wake up. Do you know what, actually? Waking up early helped. Yeah, I went through a stage where I was waking up early at 6 a.m. and I was going to the gym. And it helped because it made my day longer. So I had more to do. Yeah. It felt weird at first because it was like, what am I like? I don't know, like when I'd get back about 9 o'clock and it's like, right, my day started. Like, whoa. I think that, like, getting up early, but I'd say mainly just going cold turkey, deleting social media. I mean, I'm not a TV person, so I'm not going to say cut out TV. I watch Disney films all day and old EastEnders. Like, that's all. I'm not really a TV person, so I don't really, care about that. And also just kind of like, sometimes I think what always helps my mental when I feel a bit foggy is like, I have to just push myself to do something. Yeah. So it could just be get out your bed and go and turn on them decks and go and practice. Like, go and mix. Like, and then when you've done that for an hour or two and I've played my music throughout the house, whatever, I go to bed and I feel a bit better because it's like, okay, at least I just touched them today, or I just done them. Like, now I have not made a mix. Everyone keeps hounding me, where's your mix? I'm like, it's coming, but I'm procrastinating. And that's, I would just say cut out those outside distractions as much as you can. And then,
I love that. Just to finally, a couple more. Just give us your top 3 DJ tips and top 3 radio tips. So, hit them up.
DJ tips? I don't feel like I'm in that space yet. I feel like...
Oh, you're there, man. You're there.
I feel like for DJ tips... I'll start with radio tips. Yeah. Radio tips, I think, what helped me or what I've seen other people, again, it goes back to my having a niche. And when I say niche, I mean, like, even if you're someone who wants to play everything, you can still play everything, but come with a different angle. Like, come with like a different flavor. Like, I think that helped. Always like being open to networking is like I feel networking is the biggest. Forget your skill is it, of course, but networking and who you know, oh my God, it just helps. And it's not a social climb thing. No, it's just about knowing other people who are in the same spaces as you. Because also it's nice to go to events and you know that person and you can speak about like some things you can't speak about with your friends that are about like the industry or music and stuff. So you know people who you can speak to about it. And also I feel like, I mean, you have the odd couple, weirdos that aren't happy for you. But like when you speak to people in the industry, I feel like everyone's genuinely quite happy. Like, oh my gosh, like you can see like, I have like a kind of like in my industry pal, Fee Mac. She was on West Side Radio.
She's on One Extra, right?
Yeah. And
I
it's
met her
like...
the other day, big up Nick Bright, I think he introduced me.
Oh, yeah.
Nice
like
energy, bigger up.
Big. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. To me, I love that because it just shows that people are constantly working on their goals. And I like to be surrounded around people who are like that, who are like working on their goals, working on themselves every day. Obviously, things happen, but constantly got that little hustle in them, constantly wanting to reach those levels. And I think like having industry like networking, having like your own little niche, your own lane type of thing. And I'd say for radio, don't be like ignorant to the stations that you may work on. Like, I'd say I'm guilty about this with Worldwide FM. So like when I first joined Worldwide FM as a production assistant, I was like, how the hell am I going to fit into this crowd? Because it was like, obviously all music is black music, but it wasn't your mainstream black music, like hip hop, R&B. It wasn't like a Represent Radio or a One Extra Radio. It was like jazz and electronic. Yeah, like all these Balearic.
Trust me.
When I'm doing the tags for people's shows, I'm like, what is this? Like, okay, or sound and all these different, And then I think that's when I learned after being there, and then I done my carnival show, and I done 2 carnival shows on there. I think I realized also that kind of it gave me a new like level unlocked in my career goals. Yeah. So like I want to play Caribbean music to audiences that don't really listen to it. Yeah. Because being in a place like even like your show, oh my gosh, what's her name? How can I forget her name?
America.
Huh?
Oh,
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Tones, yeah.
Tones, yeah. Her, you, like, I feel like you guys' shows were like exactly what I'm talking about in a station that you're not gonna hear the conventional stuff that's always played or vinyls, but you guys brought a different avenue and a different flavor to the radio station. Yeah. So that's why I say, like, if you're someone who's playing, let's say me, I wanted to play soca music on Worldwide FM, you'd think, what? What's the correlation? But one thing I liked is the audience that was on there. Like I done a show that was on Carnival, and it was I interviewed a man called Clive Phillip, and he's one of the like founding members of Mango Still Band. But to me, I'm assuming like people who would have listened to it would have liked that because it's like archivey. Do you get what I mean? So that show may not have worked on a mainstream station like a Represent or even like No Signal, but it may have worked more on like a Worldwide FM. So it helps me kind of change up my
broaden the horizons.
Yeah, like I want to do both. Why not? Like type of thing, because it reaches a different audience. And as my whole thing with my career is I just want to bring Caribbean music to different audiences. So it kind of went hand in hand.
100%.
So yeah.
Big that up. So what's next for you then? Like what's next now? 2023, new year. Up a couple of the goals.
100%. I'm going full steam ahead of my DJ career. I'm not messing about. I've made too many promises to important people in my life that I'm going to do it. So I have to do it. So, you know, I want to just like bring out the mixes, do more sets, start building my like online presence as well. Because the thing is, we live in a day and age where we have social media at our fingertips. We're not, like I always find a lot of older DJs in the industry like to give unsolicited advice on up-and-coming DJs. I saw this on a weekend just gone, and it was so embarrassing because there was a DJ, he's a big DJ in the scene. This guy came in, this old guy came in and was just like basically telling him how he should like address like the mandem in the parties. Bear in mind, this party that we was DJing at did not have no mandem. Like it was very like, you know, mixed crowd. There was a lot of white people, you know. And then he was like, how do you know I don't do that? Like he was saying that because I've, you know, this DJ, he's always doing like MCing and that on his DJ. How do you know I don't do that type of thing? And then he tried to come with, you know, the name drop in. And then he was just like, yeah, I know that person and that person, that person. And then it's like, sometimes I find the older generation, they can make you feel like an upcoming DJ or person in the industry that like, because we have more easier tips, we're not proper or you're not. And it's just like, okay, all right, grandpa. All right, grandma. Like, well, let's just move with the times. Like, obviously, if we all had to hustle and do vinyl and all that kind of stuff, we would. But we don't. We've got systems and decks and things that make it easier for us to do that. So I think for me, it's just about carrying on with the journey and just carrying on doing my DJing and start to now form connections. Like next year is my year of connections as well. Connections here, Caribbean. You know, I'm also a big carnival girl. So one of my biggest goals is at least I'm attending 2 abroad carnivals, fingers crossed. I'm trying to go St. Lucia and maybe like New York Carnival later on in the year. Okay. Because, you know, Trinidad. No, I'm not making that in February, unfortunately. I'd love to, but
it's... When is New York Carnival?
September.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a thing where Notting Hill Carnival finishes and then bounce over to...
Have you been there before?
No.
The weather will still be decent, I think, New York.
What, in New York? Yeah. I mean, the only carnivals I've been... I went to Trinidad in 2020, before the pandemic. That was great.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Good experience.
To get to that one.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much other carnivals. Trinidad's obviously the main one. I feel like go to that, but Grenada Carnival, that's where I think I would recommend. I've never been, but from what I see and what I hear, Grenada Carnival I think is like the next best carnival because especially the Juve, powder. It's a different experience, and then the music's a bit different as well. And it's just Grenada. I just recommend everyone. Yeah, so I don't know if I said it right, but yeah.
love that. You know, yeah, it's been a pleasure chopping it up. You know, talking, having conversation with you, Jada, and yeah, wishing you all the best.
Thank
Give out
you.
your
And
socials to the
yourself.
people.
Oh, so my Instagram is it's Jada Pink, so ITS Jada JADA Pink PINK. That's all I have really.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're rolling. You know, obviously we'll catch up again soon. Voices with Blake, episode 6 is Jada Pink and Dan Blake. All right, peace. Yeah, man. Listen and watch Voices with Blake on Dan Blake TV on YouTube.